this is Pre-Calc 11, Chapter 3.4. This time we're going to look at the quadratic formula. We're going to derive it, and more importantly, you're going to learn how to use it. And because we factor quadratics frequently and completing the square takes a lot of time, if we use the quadratic formula, it'll make solving problems faster. Just because we have variables doesn't mean we need to shy away. We do the same thing. We factor a out of the x terms. And we have a times x squared plus, now we have b divided by a because there's no a in there and we're factoring it out, x plus c equals 0. We have a x squared plus b over a x. Now we need to complete the square. So we take this, divide it by 2, and square it. So plus b over 2a squared. And because we're adding it, we also need to subtract it. Now I'm going to subtract it inside the bracket first. And let's move the c over to the other side, so that becomes negative c. And let me just put that, recall completing the square. Okay, and we want to divide both sides by a now. So x squared plus b over ax. And let's just expand this, b squared over 4a squared. And here we have minus b squared over 4a squared. And now we have minus c over a. Okay, we move this term to the other side. We leave this term because that's our square. So this side becomes x plus b over 2a squared. And this side becomes b squared over 4a squared minus c over a. This side's now fairly easy. This side we need to have a common denominator. So we'll just keep this side as a square for now. B squared, and we need to multiply by 4a on this one to get a common denominator. Minus 4ac all over 4a squared. Okay, now we can take the square root of both sides. X plus b over 2a equals, we'll do the square root of the top, b squared minus 4ac. The bottom, we can take the square root directly. The square root of 4 is 2. The square root of a squared is a. And now we can move this constant over to the other side. So x equals minus b over 2a plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And again, because we have a common denominator, we can just combine this. X is equal to minus b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And there's your quadratic formula. So to use this, we just plug in b, a, c, and a into there, and we'll have our solution. One thing to note, the quadratic formula will work on quadratics that don't have integer roots. So let's expand this. X squared minus 2x minus 15 equals 7. Bring the 7 over the other side, becomes negative 7. So we have x squared minus 2x minus 22 equals 0. So a is implied to be 1, b equals -2, c equals -22. So over here, we'll have x equals, and it's good to write this out until you remember it. And then substitute. So minus 2 is 2, plus or minus 2 squared is 4, but I'll just put this. Minus 4 times a is 1, and -22. All over 2 times a. Since a is just 1, we'll just put 2 in there. So here we can simplify. 2 divided by 2 is just 1, plus or minus the square root of, this is 4, and we have -4 and -22. Multiply them together, we get 88. Over 2. So this is 1 plus or minus square root of 92 over 2. And if you like, you could have left it in the common denominator. So that would have been 2 plus or minus root 92 over 2. Either way will work. Another example. Again, we need to expand -6x squared, outer, which is 14x, inner, which is -9x, and last, that's plus 21, 5. Okay, and there's some x there, sorry. -6x squared, 14 minus 9 is plus 5x, and 21 minus 5, that's plus 16. So we have a equals -6, b equals 5, c equals 16. X equals minus b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Minus b, that's minus 5, plus or minus b squared, 5 squared, minus 4, minus 6, 16. All over 2 times -6. So we have -5 plus or minus square root 25, and 4 times 6 is 24. 24 times 16 is 384. And that's over -12. And we'll simplify this. We get 409. 409 is not a perfect square. Here, we don't like to keep negatives in the denominator, so we'll divide the top and bottom by -1, 5, plus or minus 409 over 12. 409 is not a perfect square, so we'll just leave that. One more example. Expand. First, 2x squared, outer, -10x, inner, plus 2x, last, -10 equals -20. Combine 2x squared minus 8x, and this becomes positive 20, so this is plus 10 equals 0. Again, write these out until you get used to it. Otherwise, you'll make a mistake in your substitution. X equals minus b, that's 8, minus 8 is positive, plus or minus square root 8 squared, 64, minus 4 times 2 times 10, all over 2a, that's 4. 8 divided by 4 is 2, plus or minus square root 4 times 2 times 10 is 80, so we have minus 16 over 4. So we have no real roots. Remember, negative 16 is no solution, so we say no real roots. Change that to 16. So square root negative 16 equals the square root of 16 times I. We define I as the square root of negative 1. And this is called the imaginary root. And we have complex numbers. And complex numbers has a real part and an imaginary part. So, in fact, this is a complex answer. However, for pre-calc 11, we just say no real roots. And just a reminder for your word problems, negative answers are generally extraneous when the variable is time or a length measurement. And that completes this lesson.